Hey there, I'm Alan Matthews from Classical Guitar Shed, and you may have noticed a tendency in your pieces that you have memory slips closer to the end than closer to the beginning, and there's a reason for that, and we're going to talk about it and give you a solution in this video. If you enjoy it, please do subscribe to this channel and click the little bell for the notifications. All right, so here's what normally happens. Let's say we're going to learn this piece, and so what do? Well, naturally, we start right here at the beginning. And then we practice this and we practice it, and then we may practice the next little bit, and then we play those two parts, then we practice the next one, and then we play those three parts, and then we practice the next one, and then play those 4 lines, and then the 5 lines, and then the 6 lines. And so what happens is by the time we get to the end, we have now practiced this part up here 576,000 times. And this part over here, we've only practiced 400 times. And this is a great scenario. This is like really practicing. But look at the difference between those two. It's a lot. So instead, one of the things that we can do is to load against that is by starting at the end and then working backwards from there. That way, we get stronger as we move into the piece. Let's look closer at this. So then to begin with, we can just start with that very last line and even just the last couple of measures. And by the time we actually play this thing, we get all the way to the end, those are going to be so friendly. We'll have been played them so many times and we'll be so familiar with it because we started with them. Then we take the next little bit back and play it. And we practice that. Over and over and over. Then we can tack on the next bit and work on that. And now our sections, we're learning by sections, moving from the back to the front. Now we can learn sections like this. We can learn by the bar. So we could do each bar moving backwards. We could do lines, phrases, sections, anything that we like. It could be this one. I like to break things into like 8-bar sections, 6-bar, depending on the phrasing. And so you could do those blocks and move those back in time. One of the things that you'll notice also is that we oftentimes repeat material at the end that we have from the beginning. So as you work from the back to the front, you'll find yourself finding familiar material, just like you would the other way. And so right as we go to the very beginning of this piece, we have the exact same thing that we had at the very end. And so then that becomes very, very easy to know, very easy to remember because we know it so well. And so by the time we learn it, then we become more and more familiar with the material later in the piece. So it's a lovely way to learn. You know, there's another benefit as well. And that is that once we start at the very beginning and we play through the piece, it feels like we're playing the piece, right? We get 75% of the way through the piece and we stop playing. It still feels like we played the whole piece, even though we didn't get right to the end. But if we work in sections and go from the back, it never feels like we've actually played the piece because we haven't started at the beginning and played all the way to the end or even any of it. So then by the time we actually get to playing the opening of the piece, well then it feels like such an accomplishment then, and it pulls us forward until we get to that point. So you can actually save the opening, save this first 4 or 8 bars until you've got most of the other stuff worked out, because that will keep it to where there's that drive of like, I'm still working on this, I'm ready. It's some dopamine. We want to feel it happening. We want the anticipation to keep building so that we stay motivated, which is what dopamine does. We stay motivated to keep practicing it and keep working at it. Once we actually get the first part, well then we've kind of done, and then we enter into a new phase of learning, which is the polishing phase and the detailing phase. And that takes on, we run the risk at that point of saying, okay, what's the next piece? Because the same dopamine triggers say, okay, well, satisfaction is the death of desire. We've gotten all of the notes on that one. What's next? And so then we might move to something else. But instead, if we hold it out, then we can practice it longer and keep we're just playing psychological tricks on ourselves. But it works, and it's because we're humans and we're funny little creatures. I hope you've enjoyed this. You can learn pieces from the back to the front, And it's just a wonderful way to change things up in your practice. Try it. Try it with one piece. You don't have to do it forever, but give it a shot and see what you think. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel, and best of luck in all your music. Bye-bye.